Now we will discuss the scenario. When the population standard deviation is unknown and the sample size is small. Sample size is small, which means that n is less than 30. Okay. For example, the average cost of a hotel room in New York is $168 per night. A random sample of 25 hotels result in they give the sample mean is $172.50 and the sample standard deviation is $15.40 and test it at alpha equal to 0.05 significance level. Assume the population distribution is normal. Step 1, hypothesis testing, where the mean equal to 165, alternative mean not equal to 165. Step 2, significance level alpha equal to 0.05. And when n equal to 25, so the critical value is equal to positive negative 2.0639. Why? The reason why we have positive or negative is because this is a true-till test. The reason for here 24 not 25 is because this one t m minus 1 equal to 25 minus 1 equal to 24. So T24 equal to positive negative 2.0639. Okay. Since population standard deviation is unknown, sample size is less than 30, so we use t-test. Decision making, reject the null hypothesis if the t-test is less than the n, less than lower or upper critical value. Otherwise, do not reject the null hypothesis. Next step, we will compute or calculate the test statistic. So we'll get 1.46. Then next step, we can draw a diagram, and 1.46 is here. Do not reject or non-rejection region. Therefore, we can conclude that do not reject the null hypothesis. Since T statistic equal to 1.46, which is less than 2.039, and we can conclude that there is no sufficient evidence that the true mean cost is different than $168. Next, if the question didn't ask you to compute or calculate the p-value, we can stop at here. If the question asks you to calculate the p-value, then we can refer to the table 3 and we can get the p-value is equal to 0.0721. Since this is a true-till test, therefore we multiply 2 and we get 0.14. Now, if the question asks us to calculate the confidence interval, If the question asks us to calculate or compute the confidence interval, we can use this formula. X bar plus minus Z alpha divided 2 sample standard deviation divided square root of n, where from the question we know that the sample mean is 172.5. We just substitute significance. This 2.06 is, this 2.0639 is alpha, and then this is sample standard deviation 15.4, and is our sample size. Therefore, we can get .166.14. Okay. Less than and equal to population mean, less than or equal to 178.86. This is a interval. Okay. Since this interval contains the hypothesis mean 168, we do not reject the null hypothesis at alpha equal to 0.05. Next, we'll go to the last scenario, population proportion. For example, a marketing company claims that it received 8% response from its mailing. To test this claim, a random sample of 500, this is our N, will survey with 25 response. Test it at alpha equal to 0.05 significance level. So we want to check whether we can use the proportion formula or not. So we use this one, n multiply p, 500 multiply 0.08, we get 40. N multiply 1 minus p, we get 460, which is greater than 5. Greater than 5. Therefore, we can use proportion formula. Okay. So again, there's 7 steps. Step 1, hypothesis. Null hypothesis, p equal to 0.08. Alternative, p not equal to 0.08. Alpha equal to 0.05. When n equal to 500, then the critical value is positive negative 1.96. Again, the reason of we have positive negative is because referring to the hypothesis, this is a two-tailed tax. So next step, we have to calculate or compute the z-tax for proportion. By substitute the value inside, we can get negative 2.47. When negative 2.47 is lie on the rejection region, or negative 2.47 is less than negative 1.96. Therefore, we make a decision that reject null hypothesis at alpha equal to 0.05. In conclusion, there is sufficient evidence to reject the company's claim of 8% response rate. Next, if the question asks to calculate p-value, then by using the answer here, negative 2.47, refer to the table, we can get 0.0068. Since this is a two-tailed tax, Therefore, we multiply 2, we get 0.0136. Reject null hypothesis. Since the p-value is equal to 0.0136, which is less than alpha equal to 0.05. Okay. That's all for chapter 10. I repeat, for chapter 10, one sample text, we cover two things, T text and Z text. Then for T text and Z text, we have 7 steps to calculate it. Okay, this is the Z text formula, T text formula, and we have these 7 steps. After that, sometimes the question might ask you to find the p-value. So by using the result or the test statistic that we are able to get from here, step 5, we can refer to the table to get the p-value. If there's a 2 tilde text, multiply 2, 1 tilde text, no need to multiply 2. Next, if the question asks you to calculate the proportion, then we have to check MP, M multiply P, M multiply 1 minus P, whether that is greater than or equal to 5 or not. If the answer is greater than or equal to 5, we can use this formula. Otherwise, no. Okay, that's all for this chapter. Thank you. And this chapter is, again, I repeat, this chapter is very important for your final exam. Thank you.